what's up? It's your boy Jerome, aka the Hood Avatar, coming straight from the ATL. Hey, listen, people. This is my first video, and I'm putting it out there because I always get the question, why is the flat Earth important? If y'all spend more time arguing about something that's going on today, then you would get something accomplished. But why is the flat Earth important? Um, the flat Earth is important because it's the beginning and the end. It's the reason for where we are now in society. Hopefully, I teach some people this and I answer these questions today. So y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
We may be witnessing the beginning of an era that will mean the complete annihilation of man.
Yeah, she made me take my backbone out. How you prying by my looks but take a track phone out? I got mistakes and I came out they weighing heavy. You was winning, that won't change. I hope you're doing better. Karma turns your kisses deadly. You should think they were euphoric. You were never good at telling lies, so you referred to silence. You couldn't admit that you was wrong, so you resort to crying. I was forgiving you from time to time. Finally, you crossed the line. Life will teach you. If not that ice to keep you, I would have never tried my luck if I could never keep up. And now I'm stuck pursuing melodies about what you had meant to me. Never hit me up, I'm burning everything you sent to me. Used to gain, abuse the pain, man, none of that makes sense to me. Delete your name, alleviate the pain, avoiding sensory. You had me caught in my sadness, I caught you lacking my asthma, attacking, packing up all the presents I had. I'm running low, I need a battery. I should rethink my strategy. What could happen? You think I can erase you off my canvas, but without you was better days. I could've had better plays. You left me a sour taste. I sent you a power craze. I blow up like Taliban, cause you never understand. I ain't got no vertebrae. Let it breathe. Yeah. Let it breathe.
Yo, let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with this picture of the one of the models that I kind of subscribe to for the flat Earth. This right here is, for the most part, what the flat earthers believe, and it's kind of incomplete because it don't have the four pillars down here. But for the most part, this is accurate. And when some people ask, they say, why don't you just fall off of the earth? Why isn't the earth? Why isn't the water falling off? Why don't y'all just go to the edge? Where's the edge? Okay, as you see right here around us, there's a 360-degree wall of ice. This is what Antarctica is. They have you believe it's a little bitty continent on the bottom of the earth and whatever, but it's not. It is a 360-degree wall around us, and that's what we have right here. And I'll demonstrate that for you right now. Here you have many pictures of the wall. This is the wall. It's 200, said to be 250, 150 feet in some places. Some people even say higher. You have different movies that project this wall. One being the Game of Thrones, and I think this comes off of the Game of Thrones right here. Yeah, they put it in plain sight, and this one probably also comes from the Game of Thrones. This one, but for the most part, this one right here is real. This one is real, and this right here is basically the map that we were just looking at from a side view. Um, this is what I subscribe to as a flat earther. You have many globalists who want to put us with this like a disc flying through space, and that's not true by any means. This is a more accurate depiction right here, people. This right here is what I believe. This is us, Earth. The ice shells hop upon and travel to other ponds, other places that is the same way. Maybe there's a big dome over all of us that we cannot escape. Dome, 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 and there's cracks in the ice and there's roots that we can go to each other because there are mountains. It's not just flat ice right here. It's mountains and many obstacles between us, but nevertheless they are negotiable with the right technology. And we see that as we see visitors coming from other areas that we say are coming from outer space, but I believe they're just visiting from other Earth plans per se. Okay, so we're gonna go into the religious part of flat Earth because that's what a lot of Christians associate themselves with is the religious part of the flat Earth. I'm not a religious person myself. I'm not a Christian. I believe in nature and spirituality. I believe in going inside oneself and getting to know self. That's the true calling of man is to know how to if you conquer oneself and you know yourself, then you pretty much learn the universe because everything that's out is within, as above so below. And that's one thing that we must learn as people, that God is not some person that's out here in the sky, just a big white guy or a big black guy or Asian or whatever, just up here looking down over us. God is actually within. You understand what I'm saying? You seek within. You have to know thyself. And same thing with nature. They have the same connection with the Most High. When the storms come and you see a group of birds fly off, you see animals migrating away from storms as if they know they're coming, when it might be a perfect clear day. Somewhere along the way, man has lost this connection, but we used to have it, and that's something we have to get back to. We have to get back connected to Mother Earth, to nature, what's natural, and they've convinced us and tricked us that unnatural is natural, and that's where we're at today with all these electronics. But needless to say, I'm going to use it for my advantage. So what we have here is cosmology depicted, and when I say cosmology, that's what Christianity is, and that's why I relate Christianity to bring it back to the flat Earth, because that's what they made it. What you have here is the sun in the middle, the Son of God, and around him you have the constellations, the 12 apostles, 12 constellations. They in groups of threes, which account for the seasons of the year. You know, you want to start with summer, fall, spring, and winter, whatever they are. I don't know exactly which ones each group are, but this is what they represent, and they also represent each individual as a sign: Gemini, Libra, Scorpio, Virgo, Aries, Taurus. You know, this is what they represent, and I find it interesting that people don't see these things. You know, when I think of Jesus and Lucifer, I think of lower and higher self, just like Aset and Haru in the Egyptian. You know, they are the same. You know, Jesus is the Son of God, and Lucifer is the morning star. Okay, let's keep moving. We want to go to who discovered that the Earth was round. Okay, we have Pythagoras. Pythagoras, so-called, discovered that the Earth was round, and he just came out and announced it. He had been doing. I think he was a student to Aristotle, or he was the teacher to Aristotle, and Aristotle took his works after he so-called died, which they say he was murdered by Aristotle, and Aristotle took the credit for his work, and it was basically a con, because when you look at it, all he did was remove the sun, remove the Earth from the center of the universe and replaced it with the sun, and bam, oh, we revolve around the sun. The sun doesn't revolve around us. The Earth is round, and it must be round and looks like the sun. You keep in mind, back in these days, they didn't have spaceships. They didn't have telescopes. They didn't have the technology to go look. So if you realize the globe Earth is rooted in something that is something that was fake from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It is not anything that was found to be, oh, we discovered this because we had absolutely proof of it. You know, the earliest reliable documented mention of the spherical Earth concept dates around the 6th century BC. So that means it didn't come around to 6th century BC. And up until that point, everyone knew, all the ancient societies knew that the earth was flat. You know, they knew that it was stationary, and they knew that it was void of movement. And we know this today because this is what we experience. But we choose, well, not we, most people choose to believe that the Earth is flying off through a universe, moving at 666 million miles, spinning around a sun that's pulling it behind, and is rotating around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour, and then it's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, and that you feel none of this. You feel none of this when the laws of physics tell you otherwise. But we choose to just to be sheep and follow instead of questioning. And when you stop questioning, that's when you end the quest. Okay. Other things worth mentioning is the Genesis in the Bible. There are verses in the Bible that describes the flat Earth, and for you to be a Christian and believe in the Big Bang is like looking left and right at the same time. You know, it's really stupid when the Bible describes the Earth as being stationary and void of movement, and that when it describes it being made, it describes it as God made a firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and in the evening and the morning was the second day. So let's get this straight. He made a firmament and separate the waters above from the waters below. Let there be a firmament, and in the midst of the waters, and let there divide the waters from the waters. Okay, so he divided the waters from the waters, put a gap in between it, and here we are today. There's several verses to that supports the flat Earth theory. Like let's see, this is one. This is Matthew 5 verse 35, and all of these are from different Bibles. Okay, and one I would use King James because that's what most Christians use. It's a common one. You know, I'm speaking at this point in Christianity because if you go to Africa, or if you go to Russia, how would you communicate with Russians? You would speak Russian. You wouldn't speak American and expect everybody to understand you. So I'm trying to reach people with what they believe and trying to show them that in your belief is truth. Not saying that your whole belief is true, but in your belief is true. And these are things people have to find out on their own. But this is this verse, and it says, "Nor by the earth, for it is his footstool." The earth is his footstool. So what does a footstool look like? God's footstool. This is it, and this is called Yahweh's terrarium, and this is what this has its roots based in Judaism, and basically this is how it describes God created the planet. It describes it as being the firmament, which this is this, and firmament means, the root word of firmament is firm. That means solid. You know, and it's a dome over us, and it says he put the earth on its four pillars, and it was stationary and void of movement, and this is it, and it looks like a footstool. So basically, we're in a terrarium, and I associated with the Atlantis, the city of Atlantis, and I'll get to that shortly. Because if you think about it, we are all underwater. Right now, you're in water. Oxygen is water. It's a thin version of water, but it's water nevertheless. So we are like in a fishbowl when you really want to think about it, and also we can't escape this place. We are here, and that's something that we must accept. And once we accept that we are here and this is all that it is, then you know you can't leave this to go anywhere. So you're gonna start taking care of this. And this is one of the ways that the elite trick people and just, hey, tear this shit up, destroy it. We're gonna just go somewhere else when we find it. And that's not true. That's nowhere near true. We got to wake up, people, and stop destroying Mother Earth, because that right now I'm just feeling like we're getting to that point where it's no return, and we got to leave this for our children and our children's children. And when we come back, yeah, I said when we come back, because I do believe in reincarnation, because if this is all there is, then this is all we will be, and this is where we are. The creation is part of the creator. in so many words. Okay, so we're gonna keep it moving, and also we're gonna start off with I have here some more flat Earth Bible verses for you, just a few. I'm running these down and keep it moving. First Chronicles 16, chapter 16. Well, book 16, verse 30. He has fixed the earth firm and immovable. Psalms 93, 1. Thou hast fixed the earth immovable and firm. Psalms 96:10. He has fixed the earth firm and immovable. Psalms 104 and 5. Thou didst fix the earth on its foundation so that it never can be shaken. Who made the earth and fashioned it and himself fixed it fast. These are different verses that correlate to the flat earth, and these are things that we must understand, that the people who wrote the Bible at the same time had their they knew the earth was flat. So this is letting you know what our ancestors believed, because they can only write what they knew. So these so-called apostles that wrote the Bible, the so-called people that wrote the Bible, they knew that the earth was flat. And we're the only ones who's convinced in the last snapshot of history, say 500 years, 600 years, that we believe the earth is round. The spherical earth is only a baby, people, and it's a deception from the elite. Why would you let your slaves know, hey, you can leave, there's more land out there, it's more out there than what we're telling you? You wouldn't. You would say, this is it, this is all there's ever going to be. If I was a slave owner and I had slaves on a plantation and I had born into a generation, I had another generation of slaves born. Okay, listen, this plantation is all there is. There's nothing more out there, people. If you walk off this plantation and you go north, you're just going to come back to the plantation from the south. If you walk off the plantation and go west, you're just going to come back onto the plantation from the east. It's a big circle. You're trapped, so live with it. That's not true, people. Don't you believe it? It's more out there, and that's just what they want you to believe. The creator is infinite, and so is the creation, because they're one and the same. Okay? So from this point, we moved from the spherical earth and who claimed it first, like we said, and that was again it was discovered by a Greek philosopher we already know, and it was Aristotle. And Hellenistic astronomy is what he studied. Hellenistic. Come on, you got to research these things. Hellenistic. The root word in Hellenistic is hell. They rule out of chaos, order out of chaos, and that's what they rule. So Hellenistic is chaos, and they bring order out of chaos. So that's what we're going through right now. What we believe is order is actually chaos. Just think about how chaotic this world is right now. We actually believe this is order, and it's crazy. And I just shake my head, and it's kind of depressing because I know we know better, but we got to learn as people, and somebody got to grow. Okay, we're gonna start this off with World War II, getting into current times. And the World War II was the dates was from 1939 to 1945. We fought Hitler, as everybody know, and they claimed victory. But did they really win? Did they beat Hitler? Did Hitler beat them? We all know, we have learned over the years that Hitler was way more technologically advanced. He had the UFOs. He had the U-boats. He had everything that the United States and Russia didn't have, and he had a large army at hand. And the stories you hear about Hitler, you must keep in mind, they come from his story, history, his story. So you're getting the story from the victors. I'm not saying infinitively that Hitler wasn't a bad man, but I'm just saying when you look who runs the world today, which are the Jews, that was their enemy, and they're giving you the version of their enemy that they want you to have. It's three sides to every story. It's your side, their side, and the truth. And that's what we're trying to get at here. We're trying to get at the truth. So it was said that Hitler went down to Antarctica, which he did. They had a base down there, and it was established, and it was called New Schwabenland. New Schwabenland. Look it up. I can't make this up, people. All it takes is a little research. So when we find out about New Schwabenland being down in Antarctica, the United States, this is one of the real main causes of World War II. People fail to realize this because basically Hitler was trying to escape the confines that has been set up, and I think he was on to something, and they were trying to stop him. He really wasn't trying to fight the win, because with the technology that he was said to have, he probably could have won the war easily. But I think Hitler had another goal in mind, and he did. That's why he disappeared, and they never found him, never had his body, never had anything. And they dropped atomic bombs on him, and it didn't stop him. They did what they had to do, got to New Schwabenland, and we went after them. And people's like, how do you know we went after them? Where's that at? Okay, when you look at these dates, remember these dates now, because this is finna fall right in sync. 1939 and 1945 was World War II, right? After World War II, bam, Operation High Jump. Operation High Jump was from 1946 to 1947. Wow, look at those dates, people. We're gonna go back. When was World War One? 1939 and 1945. Operation High Jump was 1946, 1947. Why did they have Operation High Jump? They said that they were going down for exploratory reasons to Antarctica, right? They were going to explore Antarctica scientifically. So if you just think to yourself, how many people does it take for a scientific exploration? I say at the most 100 to 200 people, which are scientists and maybe security and all your equipment, and yeah, you have maybe good 200-300 people. Well, check this out. This was done by Admiral Richard E. Byrd. This man right here, he was the expert in Antarctic and Arctic expeditions to the United States of America. He received the highest Medal of Honor, the for valor, and he also lost his life to this pursuit because I guess his conscience wouldn't let him. He eventually gave up the information that we are working with right now. He had an interview, and I'll show that here just shortly, the one he shortly lost his life after. Also, it was also co-led by Admiral Richard H. Cruzen. He was with all the Antarctic and Arctic trips too, but he didn't open his mouth, therefore lived a life. They went down there, and it was called Task Force 68. They had 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and they call it Operation High Jump back for this reason. They call it Operation High Jump because of the wall. Okay, when you go to Antarctica, you have to jump up onto the wall. You have to have helicopters. You have to have climbing equipment. You have to have some means, airplanes, to get up onto this wall. And that's why they named it Operation High Jump. You just can't go to Antarctica and park and walk up onto the beach and walk up onto the continent. You have to climb. That's why they call it the Arctic Shelf. This is what keeps the waters in. This is why there is no edge, people. This is what keeps the waters in. When people ask, why don't y'all just go to the edge? Why ain't the waters falling off? This is why. We are inside of this ice ring, people. And, when you look at it, it is what it is. These are maps, real maps. This isn't anything that was made up. All these things are real. And before they came up with this globe or spherical earth, this is what we believe. Here's a picture of the wall where they go up to it and they put the thing on it and they go up onto the beach. See, they probably cut some out of it here. This is what the continent of Antarctica. This is the continent of Antarctica. This is how you get up on it, okay? This is what it is. You have to do the research, people. I can't make this up. So this is what Operation High Jump was. And it was conducted again by Admiral Byrd from 1946 to 1947, the very year after the World War II. Now, They said that, several people lost their lives. They came back limping. They came back hurt. They were defeated. And Admiral Byrd warned that the United States, listen, an invasion of a country by hostile planes coming from the polar regions. This is what he warned us of when he came back. So what was down there, who was down there, and more importantly, what were they down there for? But whoever it was had technology that far exceeded us. He stated in one of his statements that the plane could reach from pole to pole in a matter of minutes. That's how fast these vehicles were. And wow, that's a lot to be said for back in those days. It was something down there that they know about that we're just not trying to find out about, people. And I'm gonna go to this short video, and I'm gonna let you see what exactly Admiral Byrd had to say. Here we go. Enjoy.
And the small cruising radius where we have to put down bases. That's never been seen.
Good evening, this is Frank Knight. May I introduce our co-editors for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope? Larry Lasser, CBS News correspondent, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. Only 60 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
This is a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
Well, Admiral,
Yeah.
would you say that since you've been to both the extremities of Earth, are these expeditions to such far-off places, are they getting easier because of modern techniques, or is danger still close at hand?
Well, it's a little risky, but nothing like it used to be with the old slow planes and the small cruising radius where we had to put down bases. We replaced the dog teams, and of course that was a big improvement. But now the planes go much faster and they're safer, and they have a much bigger cruising radius. You haven't got the danger of a terribly heavy load.
Admiral.
All right, people. There you have it. Out of the old man's mouth, not out of mine. Hey, he said that there were land on the other side of the continent about the size of the United States. Now, how could you go on the other side of Antarctica if it's at the bottom of the earth? Where's this other continent, people? I'm gonna show you. Back to the flat earth wall. It was land on the other side, people. This is not science. I mean, it's just facts. There's land outside of the ice ring. We're in this one little pond thinking that that's all there is, and this is one map here. This is not the only one. I'm going to show you more. But look, people, this is a map, a 10th century old map. This map is, very, very, very old. And this map was found in India, I want to say, and go back here. Okay, this map was found in India, and it depicts accurately our continents here, and then outside it shows the ring, and then it shows, look at this, all these lands. Could these be places that our ancestors used to frequent travel? How would they map this? How would they know? You mean to tell me they would tell the truth about this, but lie about this in a 10-century-old map? Come on, man. We got to keep moving. You got to learn how to think on your own. You can't let these people think for you, and that's what they did. Okay? They're thinking for you. Okay, he went down. Let's go back to these dates. 1946 through 1947 when he was there, right? Okay. So we're gonna skip here, and after he went down and he took several trips, as I said, he was the explorer for the United States Navy, and he went to the Antarctic circles. He went to Antarctic several times and the Arctic Circle several times, and he took several trips and a lot that we don't know about. So you have to research these things and find out about them, and that's another video where I'm going to bring up about his other trips. But after he came back in 1958, shortly after, NASA was established. Why would they establish NASA? Right? They established NASA shortly after this. Approximately 10 to 11 years of trips to Antarctica, they established NASA, right? And in 1958, NASA was established by President Dwight Eisenhower. Okay. And NASA, as we know, was established for space exploration, so we think. But it was, in my opinion, it was established under the disguise of exploration of the plane, because that's what they're doing. They're not exploring space, because space doesn't exist. Okay, so yeah, they and that's another video I'll get into also. They're exploring here, and that's their goal, is to block us, and that's what NASA does. NASA is not to be trusted. They lie about everything. Everything they bring is CGI, and I'll have stuff showing you about that. Let's keep moving. Okay, so after NASA was established in 1958, they came with the Antarctic Treaty. Okay, and this actual site, U.S. Department of State, Diplomacy in Action, the Antarctic Treaty. Basically, what they're saying, you can't go to Antarctica, people. And look at when this was established, man. It was established in December 1959. NASA was established in 1958, and this was established in 1959. They entered it into force. That means the countries that didn't agree to sign on, they forced it on 1961. You understand what that means? All these countries signed on, and what they do is they patrol the walls of Antarctica, and if they have sensors, they have buoys in the water, they have sensors and radar, and if they pick you up trying to attempt to go to Antarctica without permission, without the right paperwork, they will kill on sight. You know, they will shoot on sight. People have been killed attempting to go to Antarctica. And some people have been captured and brought back and held, and they won't allow you to do it. They say it's only for scientific study, but in order for you to do that, you have to have so many nations approve it that signed on to the treaty. You have to have so much money. You have to have it sponsored. You have to have a government observer. That means he just watches, and he can stop it at any time that he agrees to. So now that he stops it, you know, you're not allowed to walk freely upon Antarctica, and he'll stop it basically whenever he see you're going somewhere that you're not supposed to go, and they just accompany you on the trip. Okay, so basically what this is supposed to be saying is that there's no military actions. No one can claim Antarctica. No one can go onto Antarctica. It's for peaceful reasons only and for scientific exploration only. Admiral Byrd later on in that interview was talking about Antarctica and how it's mountains of coal down there, how it's mountains of metals that we need that are precious and rare, and that are solid mountains of this stuff now that they're not attempting to mine. Really, people? You know how this world is, you know how the United States is, and you know how these people are with these mining operations and getting the oil and all the ore and all the iron and everything. And you mean to tell me they wouldn't go to Antarctica and get that? because of they don't care about any other wildlife here on this planet. Why all of a sudden they care about Antarctica? Why do they want to block people? Because the second that they go down there and start mining, the second that they go down there and do their thing, then that's free fall for anybody to go. You understand? They can't tell you, hey, you can't go. You know, so they can't let anybody go, because the second they tell you can go, then you're gonna find out the truth. Okay, so after this, they did this, and they've been exploring. You can look it up. They've been down there. They have stations down there, and after they found something, and it was said, it's been rumored that Admiral Byrd found the dome, and it's recorded. It's on video, and you can research this. And that he found land on the other side that hasn't been explored, and he found the dome. So after that, bam, in 1962, okay, just keep in mind, Antarctic Treaty was 1961. 1962, they came with Operation Fishbowl. What they did, there was a series of high altitude nuclear tests, people. I can't make this up. It's true. High altitude nuclear tests in 1962, where they shot nuclear missiles up into the sky as far as they could. And what happened was they was mapping the dome. They were mapping the dome, people. That's basically what they were doing. They shot it in the air, and what they were doing is seeing the explosions and the mushroom against the dome. They were testing it for strength, and they were testing it to see if they could see how far it go in the shape of it. And why else would you be shooting nuclear missiles into the sky straight up? Okay, we look at NASA. They tell you, hey, the reason why we shoot and it goes in the arc is because the rockets have to sling around the planet, and when they come around the planet, they build up the speed so they can pop out into space, because the gravitational pull of Earth is too strong, right? So these nuclear rockets, they shot them straight up in the air, and why would the rockets explode unless they contacted something? If not, they would just pop into outer space, people. I mean, let's have some common sense here. Why would they shoot into our atmosphere nuclear rockets? Nuclear, several. They shot them up for years, people. I can't make this up. You have to look this up. You know, they did this for a long time. They shot these missiles up and shot them up and shot them up. Obviously, they didn't think it would harm us, right? Right. They would never harm us. Come on, people. I can't make this up. Let's look it up, man. Go do the research. Okay. This right here is the new Swabia that I was telling you about, that the secret base that the Germans had. You see right here, you see the third right had the technology of the UFO. Everybody knows that Hitler had this technology. He was perfecting this technology, and that's what they had. It was a Nazi base, and they had technology to fly from pole to pole in a matter of minutes. And so if you ask me, the whole disguise of World War II was a lie. It was more of a race. It was a race to get to Antarctica and find the truth out, people. It was a race, something that Hitler knew that they were hiding from us, that we know nothing about. And this is what we're trying to get to the flat earth. These people are lying to us blatantly in our face and expect us not to question and say anything about it. And that's what we got to get past, people. We can't let these people keep just telling us and making us sheep. And basically that's what they're doing. So let's go to this lost city of Atlantis again. Okay. When you go to the lost city of Atlantis, I stated earlier that we're living in the lost city of Atlantis because it's just a model of the flat earth map. This mythological city is a model of the flat earth map. Here you have Mount Meru in the middle, or Valhalla, or the Garden of Eden, or whatever you want to call it, whichever mythology you want to use. This is what the middle represents, okay? The umbilical cord of the planet. Here's where we live, okay? We live around this inner ring. This is an inner ring that you're not allowed to go to. I didn't mention that it's illegal to go to the Arctic Circle also. Okay, so here we go. You have the planet around that we live on. Here's our oceans. Here's the ring around us, and the outer ring and another ring. Now, There are gates in these rings of ice, people. There are gates, and we can't access outside and inside, but they are closely guarded by the Coast Guard. So you just can't go out there willy nilly and think you're gonna make it. You have to have this protection. This also is another depiction of the city of Atlantis. What does this look like? The firmament dome, the waters above. There we are, Mount Meru, Valhalla, the land around it where we live, the outer rings, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to tell you is they hide the truth in plain sight in front of you and expect you not to seek it or expect you not to decode these things. You know, and that's couldn't be further from the truth. We have several ancient cultures, the Mayans here. You know, the Mayan cosmos depiction, the cosmos now. So here you have Midgard. You know, if you watch the movie what's the name of it? The Avengers or Thor. Thor always refers to the earth as Midgard, and we are mediums. You understand? So mediums means middle. Midgard means middle. Okay? So here you go. You have the firmament dome over. You have Sheol. That's what the Hebrews call Sheol, the deep dark, the deep below. And that's what the Christians call hell. And you can see down here the gods down here. You can see up here the gods in the firmament, you know, and this basically is what they believed. It was a flat earth cosmos, right? So let's go to another ancient society, right? Let's go to the Buddhists. The Buddhists believe the same thing. Here you view theirs directly from the top. You have Mount Meru, Tree of Life, Valhalla, the umbilical cord of the earth going straight in the middle. You have us around. You have the ring 360 degrees around us, and you have plenty of life and land on the outside of that ring, people. I mean, come on now. This is what these people depicted all these years. I can't make this up. I'm giving you the visuals. This is the truth right here. Here you have the ancient Hebrew cosmology. Like I said, it's Sheol. The deep below is Sheol. What the Christians call hell, the Hebrews call Sheol. And at the bottom you have the lower waters. You have the pillars of the earth, the 4 pillars, right? And you have the dome. And in their beliefs, is gates in and out of the dome where the gods release the hail, the snow, the rain, so forth and so on. But up here is God's dwelling, right? So this is what the Hebrews believed, and we're gonna keep it moving to the next ancient culture. This is our ancestor. This is what they believe, people. We're gonna go to the Egyptian concept. Here you have Hathor, which is the bull, the god, and you see the horns. You see him holding up the umbilical cord. He represents the tree of life, the Mount Meru, whatever you want to call it. You have Nut, sky goddess Nut. She represents the Most High, the blackness. That's why she's black. When you look up at night in the sky, you see stars, and you see the backdrop of the stars is darkness. That is the most highest thing you see, people. It's the darkness. Nothing is behind the darkness. You've never seen anything shine from behind the darkness. Everything is inside of here. Here you have the ground god Geb. He's stretched out on the ground, which we know the earth has mountains and figures. That's the reason for the knees being bent and everything like that. So on the outside, you have the gods. You have the people with the Ankhs, and the Ankhs mean life. The Ankhs also represent the flat earth. The Ankhs have several meanings. I can go on and on about it, but that's another video. Okay, we're gonna keep it moving. Here you have, let's go to the Navajos. You have the Navajos depiction of the cosmos. Their depiction of the cosmos is the same. You have Midgard, you have the firmament dome above, you have the deep below. This was the Navajo cosmos. Same thing, people. I can't make this up. I don't have any reason to lie to you, and I won't be wasting my time with this video. We can keep it moving again if you want. We can go to let's go to the Masons, my son. This is the Masons depiction of our cosmos. Now again, you have the flat Midgard checkerboard. You have hell, or what the Christians call hell down here with the death. You have the firmament dome above, and the 69 represents the earth, the feminine and the masculine. This is what this represents. 6-9 is balance. It also represents the sun, which is the 6, and then the feminine is the women, which is the moon. Okay, it represents darkness. All right, and I can show you that here. Where is that? I don't have it in this one. Okay, so yeah, these are all the ancient cosmos, and here's a picture here I wanted to show you of how the stars spin. If the Earth was spinning this way, just constantly spinning in a straight line, you wouldn't get these circle patterns, people. This lets you know that we're still, and this is circling above us, because if it was just rotating this way, it would be a straight line blurred that way. It'll be a straight line blurred this way, just straight. The stars would be going straight across because the Earth is spinning, right? But they're not. They're going in a circle. So that's same as something spinning directly above us. Okay? So the sky spins above us. The stars are in the vault of the sky. That's where the stars are at. And they're spinning above us. Okay? The stars are said to be maps. They're said to be souls. They're said to be reflections of people. That's why you can't count them, because there are just as many stars as there are many people. Different cultures believe different things. I believe our ancestors used them as maps. Several things. So these are things that you might want to research yourself, people. And that's all she wrote, folks. That'll be it for me. I just want to give a big shout out to my son first and foremost, because he provided all the music for this video. I also want to give a shout out to everybody who inspired me to be who I am, and just motivated me to get up off the couch and get off the sideline and get in the game. But I ain't playing, you feel me? So I just want to hear everybody's feedback and everybody's opinion about the video, and just please believe I'll get better as I go. And that's pretty much it. Much love and peace. I want to give a shout out to all the flat earth community and all the flat earth content makers and creators who inspired me. Bro Sanchez, ODD, Big Dread, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. This one go out to y'all, man. Much love and support, and I'll keep supporting, and I'll keep pumping them out here, and please believe I'll get better. Much love and peace, people. I'm out.